So this is my Module 6 reflection on technology entitled Conquering My Fear of Technology, Baby Steps. I'm taking my first step by creating this piece of technology using some new technology, Screencast-O-Matic. So let's talk about what I've learned here in this module. Embracing the world of multimedia. I really like this quote that was in our Billings text. The benefits of using multimedia include reduction of the cost of teaching and learning and improving learning effectiveness as a result of increased learner motivation, improved retention of learning, interactivity, satisfaction, and opportunities for peer and faculty collaboration. So let me unpack that a little bit from what I understand from the readings. Cost of teaching and learning. At first I thought, how can multimedia decrease this cost? But I've already seen how as I'm using other multimedia presentations, maybe a YouTube video, that I am reducing my time and potentially the cost of producing it myself when I'm using other resources that are already out there. Improve learning effectiveness, increase learner motivation. So students are very engaged, obviously, in all types of multimedia, especially this generation, but I really think all learners like the opportunity to engage with content in a different areas, in different ways. Improve retention of learning. I think when you can interact with learning as a skills instructor, I know if you can touch it and do it, it's going to stick in your brain more. Well, multimedia helps us do that in a lot of different ways. Through its interactivity, and greater satisfaction. A lot of students really like, show me a video, show me something that I can see it, do it, and interact with it, and I can really learn. And then there is more opportunities for peer and faculty collaboration through working together on these projects. So let's talk about e-communication. Now we're talking. Well, at first I thought e-communication, are we really talking? I mean, I like to sit down and talk face to face. But in this day and age, there is a lot of resources that we're using now that really is communication for what we're doing right now, learning management systems through Blackboard. This type of communication is actually really good for an introvert like myself, that I can take time to reflect before I write a response. If I'm in a large classroom, I'm less likely to maybe raise my hand or offer a suggestion because I like to take time to formulate my responses. And a platform like Blackboard allows me to do that. Personal response systems, clickers. I used a little bit of this with Poll Everywhere in a lecture to get some kind of formative assessment of the students and how they were learning or getting the information. It does allow everybody to participate in kind of an anonymous level, and it just increases participation. Texts and tweets. Never thought of really using that in education, but can certainly see that this short form of communication might be helpful in showing if a class has moved, or just something that is a short piece of information you need to get out there. Lecture capture, that's kind of what this is, screencast, podcasts. I really found interesting that study done by the University of Washington and lectures that were also simultaneously podcasts, that it didn't really decrease the amount of students that showed up for lecture. And then in some cases where it did, they felt like students were more engaged. And I know personally my son and daughter, who are frequent members of different organizations where they enjoy podcasts, where they are very engaged in the material through a podcast. So really a great form of communication. Social media apps, of course, we have, blogs, wikis, YouTube, Facebook, are actually all forms of communication that can be very effective. Online learning. So that's this whole platform that I've been engaged in the last about 3 years, and really it starts with what I've learned in being a student is my engagement in it, but now I'm learning, what is the engagement from the course development side, And it starts with really looking at who your learner is. I appreciated the information on digital natives and digital immigrants. The students I teach are digital natives, but I'm a digital immigrant. And in an online learning environment, you may have both of those, and that really needs to be considered as you're developing that. Defining learning outcomes, objectives, and competencies, those are universal, whether we're teaching online or in the classroom. But the way we package them might be different online. Organizing content into short, logical units, lessons, modules, that's what we've all been experiencing. I really appreciated this information also on integrating, from Bradshaw and Lowston, on integrating educational practices. High expectations. What is the expectation in an online class? Active learning. That this is not just sit back and consume, but you're going to be partaking. Rich prompt feedback, very important. Interaction with the faculty. What is the policy for emailing the faculty? Does the faculty have hours for receiving emails? And interaction with classmates. Respectful interaction in Blackboard posts. Time on task. How long is, what's the expectation in this class that you should be spent studying? And respect for diverse ways of learning. And I think in the online environment you can provide some of those diverse ways. Providing students with opportunities to practice and apply course principles in context. Well, here's an example. I'm right now trying to apply something that I have learned in the module here on technology as a teaching and learning strategy, and I'm applying it by creating this Screencast-O-Matic video. And I think in online learning it's really important, and I noticed that in most of the classes we've had some very real specific ways of applying what we're learning in the classes. Virtual worlds. I really enjoyed the article in Virtual Worlds of Nursing Education, a synthesis of literature, and how that article really did, by its preview of the literature, suggests that Virtual Worlds is a good platform for teaching and enhancing clinical reasoning. I have been immersed in the simulation world with SimMan, with actual simulation high-fidelity mannequins, and have certainly seen how that can increase clinical reasoning. I have myself experienced a little bit of virtual world learning through my ACLS renewals, and was really interested to find that interaction with the screen in the virtual world was, it seemed, almost effective as in-seat sort of simulation. So really a great tool out there. Interested in knowing more about it. It seems like the barriers might be the cost. The programs that I've looked at are quite expensive. Emerging technologies, a grand adventure. So, there's a lot out there. That's what I'm learning, is that, and that's kind of what Lynn Harrison said, that every day something is coming out new, and that technology is always changing, and that we're never really going to be experts because things just become, are changing all the time. But I really liked this concept here of instead of selecting a tool that I might use and then deciding, what am I going to put it into, what assignment, to remember to focus on the pedagogy first and identify the problem of practice or change needed in student development, and then select tools to best meet those learning needs. I think that's the power of technology. What I'm learning in this module is that don't get the cart before the horse. Really see what it is that we want the outcome to be, the learning need, and then see what kind of technology can best help us with that. Here's my references. I've enjoyed making this little video, and I've enjoyed being with you all in class. And I hope that in the future I will continue to take small steps towards becoming less of a nervous technology or immigrant, because that's what I am, a technology immigrant, but probably, hopefully, less of a nervous one and more able to engage in it, a little more relaxed by the whole process of engaging in technology. I can certainly see the multimedia approach to nursing education is a great foundation. And thank you.